The favorite joke on the show. I mean, it's hard to say because there's so many. Let me try this. I'm gonna like this interview is gonna come to a crashing halt because I'm gonna have a hard time picking my favorite.
Okay, Judah, how's today going for you?
It's good. It's been nice being
Yeah,
in the middle of the ocean all day talking to people. It's been very nice.
has the background been something that helps you out, just like keep you calm and when you're hearing the same question over and over again?
It's been yeah, it's very soothing. The sun is setting, it looks like, so it's a little alarming, but it's been good.
Oh God, no. Well, that's good. I want to say congratulations on the show. I've seen a bit of it, and you know what? It's great. It doesn't seem like it belongs on Peacock, in fact.
Oh man, I mean, like we're just like so excited about the response that we're getting, and yeah, I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome to do something that I think is maybe in some ways a little unexpected, and have so many people that have seen it feel like they get what we're doing here.
Right. I mean, you've worked with so many people in comedy before, and now you're in this place where you're making these a big show for television, for streaming rather. But it's amazing. It's great that we can have a show like this that would probably be on HBO 20 years ago, live on a streamer and probably even go bigger and have a way bigger audience.
Yeah, I mean, like I think for me and for Pete, like the biggest gift of Peacock is giving such creative freedom, and trusting us to do something that to have a show that is taking such huge erratic shifts in tone and not being confused as to like what the show is, because I think part of like what we wanted to design here was create a show that didn't have any restrictions on what the show could do or where it could go. And
Right.
I think it's like obviously like there's been a amazing precedent of premium networks like HBO that have allowed that type of freedom, but it's like it is amazing that Peacock has been giving us such free reign over this.
Right. And I also appreciate that it can be autobiographical as much as it needs to be, but when it needs to be over the top and really just entertain, it can turn into that aspect, like, Pete ejaculating on his mom and or him dancing while he's in makeup and smoking and he's getting ready. Like it's a great precedent that you're setting for these new autobiographical comedies, that they don't have to tell the same stories of the same comics that we've seen over and over again.
Totally. I mean, there's been like a couple of shows that are doing this type of thing, and I think it's like really exciting. Like to me, the biggest compliment that I've received is someone saw the pilot and they're like, told me they'd never seen something like this before, and I'm like, that's incredible in this world where we have so many amazing shows that have happened already. To do anything that feels remotely new or fresh in any way is, I think, a huge victory.
Yeah. I also like a reference to one of your previous jobs, American Dad. That really stuck out to me because I watch. My favorite show of all time is The Simpsons, but below that is American Dad, and
Oh,
I truly
amazing.
watch both every single day. And it's great to
Oh,
just have something so small live on something that's going to be so big.
that's great. I mean, yeah, Pete and Dave Cyrus are huge American Dad fans, and I that's a show that I love to have worked on. So it's
Yeah,
like that's all. We love giving a shout out to American Dad. It's great to
yeah.
hear that to know that I know that there's some amazing American Dad fans out there. So that's awesome.
Now, speaking of previous work, you worked on Crashing, and that show, compared to this, it was very low, monotone, very low key, but also equally as good. And I'm wondering, when you were coming, from that show to come to this show, and they're both starring like a comedic person and telling their story essentially. How did you try to, like, was there ever a point where you were telling a story for Bupkis and you were thinking, I have to get out of this zone of what Crashing was, where Pete does X, he leaves his wife, he goes to New York, he tries to make it, he barks for the Comedy Store. Like, was there ever a moment where you were like, okay, now we can go above that?
It really is. I met Pete on working on The King of Staten Island, and we just gravitated towards each other because we have very similar comic sensibilities. And it really it I think we never like deliberately tried to make the show absurd, and it's just really just like we wanted to do something that captured the kind of fever dream absurdity of Pete Davidson's real life, and then also we wanted to create something that was funny in a way that made us really laugh. So like the rule was like whatever made us laugh the most we would be allowed to do in the show and
Okay.
whatever made it. And then we started getting interested in more dramatic territories and we're like whatever makes us feel the most. So it's like I think that you know there are, it's funny because like I am coming fresh off of another show that is a very autobiographical series about a comedian, but it's like Pete Davidson's sensibility and comedic sensibility and tone is so razor sharp that it was like always very clear to us like what the tone of Bupkis is. But it was as interesting as like and as different as it is than Bupkis. Pete Holmes' comedic sensibility is so honed and razor sharp that that had a very clear point of view that was distinctly different than this. So I think like to me it's always like a joy to work and collaborate with someone that just has a very specific and clear point of view.
Mm,
You know, we never doubted the types of stories that we wanted to tell on Bupkis. It was like it was always clear. We never struggled to find like what the show was.
right.
It's just like we just started writing it because we all kind of knew what it was.
Well, then what was your favorite joke that you and Pete got to do for the show?
For Bupkis,
Yes, for Bupkis. Yeah, they're both named Pete. I'm sorry. Yeah.
the favorite joke on the show, I mean it's hard to say because there's so many. Let me try this. I'm gonna like this interview is gonna come to a crashing halt because I'm gonna have a hard time picking my favorite. There's like there's so many there's so many things in Bupkis that became almost uh like things that Pete and I would just say to each other. Like it's like I can like I don't know if you saw episode 6
No,
where
not yet.
Pete's like shooting a war movie, but it's like there's a line in episode 6 that Pete screams, "Your dad is dead!" And it's like I could call Pete right now and scream that to him, and he would laugh and repeat it back to me. So it's like you know it's just like there's so many things that are favorite lines. I don't even I can't pick a favorite. I'm sorry. I'll give you the your dad is dead. When you see episode 6, you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah.
You know what? That works perfectly just fine for me. But well, I wanted that's our time, but I wanted to thank you so much and congratulate you on the show. It's a fantastic piece of work, and I truly do enjoy it. And I can't wait for everybody else to get to watch it on Peacock.
Oh, thank you so much, Chad. I
All
appreciate
right,
it.
Judah, you have a good day.
You too.